first two speeches are, okay, so the first two speeches here will be the intros, meaning your intro and presenting your arguments, whatever your team's arguments are. Okay, and then the next two are your rebuttals, and the last ones are the conclusions. Okay, in the last two speeches, you will just summarize all your points from the debate. Okay, so I will be keeping time and taking notes of the whole debate here. Okay, if I hold up this, it means 2 minutes remain, 2 minutes left, 1 minute left. Okay, so I'll give you time. And if you are debating, you should take notes so you can have good rebuttals, so you know what they are saying. And if you are listening, you don't have to take notes, but you have to pay attention and no talking. Like, don't be preparing for your debate while they're debating. Okay? Any questions? No? Okay, let me start the time. Okay. Yeah, whenever you guys are ready.
We had thought if it is correct that students can grade the teacher. So we have think that it's a good way to have honest relationships with teachers and vice versa, for many reasons.
And you have the thought that students can judge the behavior of the teacher in the classroom and with the students. And in fact, the lessons must be interesting, and the teacher should involve the students during the lessons to
and the teacher can make the subject more amenable for students.
We think it is not correct to give the mark to the teacher because the mark judge the students' work and they can improve and understand their knowledge. And only who know his judging can judge, so only the teacher have the skills to judge the works of the students. And
if the students judge the teacher, it's like a child judge his parents. And with what skills can you do it? It's not like we judge other guy with our same age on something we know. We don't know what we are judging if we judge the teachers. And also the students probably aren't objective, and they are influenced by the sympathy of the teacher.
Depending to the skills. Do you guys have any more arguments?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. After, just so you know for next time, like when you guys are done, just tell me and then you guys start, okay? Because I think they have more arguments. Okay? So go ahead. Do you guys have more arguments?
Yes.
dialogue about how the teachers give the lessons. Another point that we have examined is availability to the students. And if the teacher tries to listen our question, and if it's necessary, discuss with them. We can grade the teachers in their qualification and in their subject, and I'll finish. This part, no.
Okay. Okay, so now it's the after. It's the after turn to give the rebuttals. Okay, so you can say why you think their arguments are bad. Okay?
Okay. We have not finished.
Okay.
We can grade the teachers in their qualification, in their subject, and how they explain that can be an incentive for teachers to do better and to understand their mistakes.
We think that the mark must be anonymous and the vote must represent all opinion. Because in this way there isn't a problem that the student can arrange this with the teacher. Finish.
Okay. Your turn for the rebuttal.
In this way, the teacher will improve the skills of the stage, but teaching will close competition, where teachers are forced to teaching for the purpose of appearance, and then really teach and make learn the students.
Depending to the skills, they are in different level. In fact, the teacher must be respected for it, because the students would feel the same level of the teacher. This
when you say that they are people who should be respected because they have more experience, and for teacher well and be listened by the students, they are need respected.
So we think the teacher have more experience because they have studied at a specific subject, and the students can judge his work because we must respect this person because because this person is more bigger than us, and is like a person to accept their words as
Okay, so you get like 1 minute to discuss with your team. Okay, then Ned goes first for the conclusion. So you just say the most important points from the debate. Okay, to summarize them, and then we go last. No, the leg goes. Okay. Are you guys ready? Okay, ready?
We often realize the results of the teaching after the school's closure. And in fact, we think when we study, we think, oh, this teacher can't aren't good to teaching. But when we finish the school, we think, oh, this teacher was good because I learned many things. And the most important topic are the students are objective and they give the mark depending to the sympathy and we haven't the skills to judge the work of the teacher.
We think that also students can grade the teachers. In fact, it is true that teachers have more experience than our. But for the point that we have examined, it isn't necessary a particular degree. So also students can grade teacher in our opinion. And the most important argument in our topics are the behavior of teacher in the classroom and the
availability to the students to examine the ability to the students because the teacher
the availability of the teacher in the confront of students.
And we think it's a good idea to incentive the teachers to do better in their work
and for understand their mistakes in their words.
Good. Okay, so 3 here and 4 there. We'll leave the chairs.
Now
just a few comments on the first one, since we want to learn from each debate something. We want to learn something from each debate. Okay, so just a few comments. One, the first thing is, you guys are, I know you guys are very nervous, but your English is actually very good. I know you guys don't think that your English is good, but it truly is good. And what you guys are saying makes sense. You guys are using very good words like incentive and degree and experience. And those are like really good words to use in a debate. So be more confident, okay? Like I wouldn't have given you this assignment to do a debate if I didn't think you could do it well, okay? So be more confident. You guys all speak English very well. And just try to remember the speaking, the traits that we talked about, like eye contact and being clear about your points. Okay, so even if it means before you talk, take 1 minute to just think about what you want to say and then say it. Okay, don't have to keep talking and then just pause and take a minute and then talk. Okay, but you guys are doing very well. I'm very impressed. And let's hear the next one. Whenever you guys are ready.
Our topic says that the power of the taxes is the power to destroy. We are agreed. In fact, now we are living in a period of crisis where the big states of the world are in difficult. And so for resolve this problem, one of the solutions are to create new taxes or to increase the old ones. And so the life of many people are in danger.
In MENA, a person in Italy in a year gets more or less 20,000 euros. So if the taxes are high, he can't live very well, and the aftermath are terrible.
In fact, a citizen to tax it doesn't have money to buy consumer goods and spend the few gains he has to the basic necessity, food, water. And if a citizen doesn't buy many things, the industries don't work. And so close it, and if them close it, many people haven't a place where work, and unemployment increase. And in the factories, if the factory is closed, there isn't work for specialists, so this person go in the other states.
And if the taxes are too high, many people will work. Many people work illegally.
Also, there is house taxes, and they decrease the sale of houses, so the number of big families is less than in the past. An English writer, James Montgomery, said that the house is something that everyone should have. So it isn't correct that the state imposes taxes so high for the people on the houses.
Good.
Okay. Okay, first of all, we want to talk about the tax and what are they.
The tax in Italian legislation is a sum owed from a private citizen to the state.
The taxes are very important because the state uses that to pay the public service.
So we pay the taxes, all the citizens have the access to the public services, like school, so we can be educated, like hospital, so when we're sick we can be treated, like police, to the safety of the people, and another example can be the trash collection, to keep the environment clean.
Okay, good. Okay, the rebuttal.
Yes, the taxes should be used for service, but we can see that this isn't always true, and sometimes the money of the citizen aren't used for the population, but for private uses of politicians. For example, an Italian politician used the taxes money to organize his daughter wedding party or another to play with the slot machine.
Okay, we are not agree with them because we also have a quotation by Padoa-Schioppa. Padoa-Schioppa is an Italian economist, and he was the director of the Bank of Italy, and he was the Minister of Economy in 2005. And also he said, taxes are a beautiful thing, a civilized way to contribute together, indispensable goods such as education, safety, environment, and health.
So now you can take 1 minute to discuss. Oh, you have more. Sorry. Go ahead.
Paying taxes is also a way to redistribute in wealth.
So if there are not, all service will be private and accessible only at the richest person. And a lot of people, like in the past, couldn't have an access to education and to health.
Good. Okay, now take 1 minute to discuss and then come up with the most important arguments. Okay. Okay. 30 seconds.
There may be dissatisfaction with the quality of the service we receive back, but not a principal opposition to the fact that tax exists and we have to pay that. And they before said that taxes that in this period of crisis the family shouldn't pay the tax, but if the family don't pay the tax, the family would pay pay the service, and this service should be more expensive.
So taxes should be not too high, and the money should be used only for service, and so the people can buy the things that they need, and in this way the economy should evolve. We think that our most argument is one who say that if the taxes are too high, the people can buy many things, the industry are closed, and the economy circle break.
Good. Okay, so before we move on, in the last debate and in this one, there were some good economic words that came up. And these are important to understand whenever you discuss economics like taxes or politics. So I just want to make sure you guys all understand what they mean. Okay, so in the first debate, they talked about incentives, right? Giving teachers incentives to do better. And incentives can be, for example, students have an incentive to study to get good marks, right? Or, and you can use it in an economic sense because you would say incentives matter, right? Nothing will function unless people have an incentive to go buy goods or to go spend money somewhere. Okay, so does everyone understand what incentive means? Capito? See? Okay. Stimulate the economy. Okay, so we say stimulate as in to bring life to. So right now you guys are talking about the economic crisis that Italians are in with a lot of people, you know, being taxed too much and not having enough money to spend. So we say we want to stimulate the economy, which means bring life to. So that's another good word, stimulate. Okay, and then circulation of goods. Circulation is like I buy a good, then the storekeeper now has money to go buy something else, and now that person has money to go buy something else. So it's a sort of circulation of money and circulation of goods. So these two lead to bringing life to the economy. So I just want to make sure everyone understands because these are really good words to use whenever you talk about anything to do with money or the economy. Okay, good? Okay, last one. Where do I sit? I'll sit. Okay. Whenever you guys are ready.
We are going to talk about why is right or wrong that religion is separated from the state. We find some points to show why is better a state not condition from a religion.
The first point, one of the most important for us, is that the different religious groups should be measured on the only force of their argument and conviction, without being privileged from the state.
Also, people that don't believe in a particular religion shouldn't be obligated to support with their taxes the religion institutions and, for example, the teachers of RE. In fact, for example, in Italy, Vaticans absorb almost an half of the citizens' taxes. Also, people that don't believe in a particular religion shouldn't be obligated to see everywhere symbols of a religion in which they don't believe.
For introduction, we have two sentences that are the first, every nation or a state has their own rules and laws. The second, every religion has their own moral rules. So the reason why we think the religion is together with the state are the first point, the rules of a nation and the rules of a religion have often the same moral origins. Culture and religion of people have often generated and inspirated the laws of states. The second point, if the church and the state were divided, they created wars.
Yeah. Okay. Nicola said before that every state has its rules, and for example, a state can have, like Italy, for example, an historical tradition of a particular faith. But someone can believe in a religion just because they are born in a state with this religion. For example, I can be Italian but not Christian, and so we think that.
Also in a religions take for her all the attention of the people, and she don't let any space for the problem of the state. For example, the crisis.
Third point, it's difficult to think that a people with the history, tradition, and religion.
We don't finish.
Oh, wait, I haven't finished.
Okay. When a state is with a particular religion, a state defends this religion. But when a religion is not with a state, the religion have to defend it alone, with not support of the state.
Good? Okay.
It's difficult to think that a people with their history, tradition, and religion may live in a country when laws are in contrast with their same religion. Church and state together can work for a real condition of freedom for every woman and every man, of peace and justice.
A state without the church would be weaker, and we find two sentences, famous sentences for the conclusion. A free church in a free state, and Chesterton said when people stop believing in God, actually they believe in nothing, and at the same time they believe in anything.
Conclusion?
Yes. Now?
Yeah. Or do you want 1 minute to
Yes.
discuss? Okay. Good?
Yes, sir. Yes, we think that it's beautiful that a state have maybe like Italy long cultural traditions with a particular religion, but we think that religion mustn't be one of the most important things in a state because especially in this period where there are many cultures in a unique state, people can be free to believe in any religion.
Good. So, in the remaining time, I want to discuss four different topics, okay? And then, if we have time left, we'll play a game, okay? So, the first one, grading teachers. Okay, so I know teams 1 and 2 debated that, but I want to hear everybody's opinion. Okay, so what do you guys think? Do you think students should be allowed to grade teachers? See, no. Other than group 1 and 2, someone else? What do you think? No? Yes? No?
I think it is correct.
Why?
Because it is for better, for be better, be
Yeah, teachers can improve. Okay, but what if a student doesn't like a teacher and then the student says, oh, she's mean, 0, or bad marks, just because you don't like the teacher, not because the teacher is bad?
No, because the vote is
collective
in the class, and you give a motivation for your opinion.
That's good, right? So a lot of, this is a very, I don't know if in Italy people discuss this, but in the US this is discussed very often as a way to give incentives, right, to teachers to do better, because otherwise they feel like they have power over the students. They don't have to try very hard because it doesn't matter. But if they know that the students are going to give them marks, then they will try harder, right? But then people say, oh, students are young, immature, they don't know how to give marks, right? But it's a collective vote, right? So they're not just taking one person's opinion. They're looking at the whole class's opinion, okay? What about the point that was brought up in the debate about respect? They said teachers should be respected, and they have more experience, so they should be respected and students should not be allowed to grade them. Yeah.
I think the students don't grade the teacher as a person, but what the teacher do his work and not the person. So it isn't doesn't respect the teacher, but it also grade what they do.
Yeah. Yes.
I think if I give a mark to a teacher, I feel like a teacher too, and so I don't respect him because I give this mark about his work, and so I can and I think he doesn't pass the class.
Okay, yeah, so that's a good point, right? That's interesting, because if a student is giving marks to a teacher, then that makes them kind of like a teacher too, but they're a student, not a teacher, right? But think about this, what happens in the real world today, in a job, right? You work in some level, you have people below you and you have people above you, right? But constantly, in every job, right, your boss above you is great, is giving you marks, right? Seeing what you're doing, making sure you do everything correctly. But in every job, the people under you also give feedback to say, okay, next time, maybe you can do this better, or don't do this and do that one instead, right? So why should teaching be any different? It's also a job, right? Just like in a company, I have my boss and I have the people under me, my employers, or my employees, right? So it's just like teaching is another job. So why should it be any different? Or should it be different? Is there a difference between students and people working, or is it the same?
I think school is like a shop when the clients, you are interesting what the client think about your service.
Yeah.
And like is a school because the teachers give the students give a opinion about their work.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it can go both ways, which is, if there was one clear answer, we wouldn't have a debate, right? It's both ways. Well, teachers should be given marks to improve, but students are young, they don't know, maybe they don't have the experience, but it goes both ways, right? So it's something to think about. Okay, the next one was about the taxes. Okay, so the power to tax is the power to destroy. So they came up with some good points saying, well, taxes are necessary for public services, right? And poor people need public services. But also taxes are not always used for public services, right? They're used for personal things like parties or slot machines, things like that. So what do you guys think? Given the crisis in Italy right now, this is very important, right? There's teachers on strike, train workers on strike. People are, really upset about the taxes and the way the government is running. So what do you guys think? Yes.
I think if the tax is used for public the train are clear and the street are clear, and I think the tax is used for smart. Some money are used for the political, for personal thing.
Yeah. Right. But how do we stop people from using it for personal things so that taxes can be used for public services?
It's correct to pay the tax because if I pay the tax, in the future I have something more than now. The state can do something for the people who live in the state and so.
Yeah, so you pay taxes now, and when you're older and you need the public services, right, you get it when you're older. So you pay now and then you get it back when you're older, right? But what happens when there is what we call a baby boom? Okay, so right now, let's say there's 100 old people in Italy using the public services. Okay, and there's 100 young people paying. So you are paying right now, and that money goes to the old people. And then when you get old, the young people pay, and you get the money, right? Okay, but what happens now, let's say this young 100, right, becomes 400. Okay, so now they get old, there's 400 old people. But that was a baby boom, they had a lot of kids, and now there's only 200 people, 200 young people. So now 200 people are paying for 400 people, right? So what do we do? What happens then? Is that a problem, or should we just continue paying?
It's a problem because old people haven't the money that becomes from the young people.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, yes, taxes are good and we need to help for public services, but they sometimes are used for personal things, and sometimes it's not fair, right? How can 200 people have enough money for 400 people, right? It's hard to keep the cycle going. Okay. So the last one we had was about the the separation of church and state, right? So what do you guys think? Should there be separation of church and state, or should they work together to discuss and make better decisions, or just completely separate? Yes?
For the point that we said before, I'm agree with the topic because people can be obligated to believe in a particular religion.
Okay. What about someone else who wasn't part of that debate? What do you think?
States don't follow the religion because anyone have to choose his God, and
yeah, right, so everyone should be allowed to choose their own religion without having the government tied. But in a country like Italy, in religion and government are so intertwined, right, so connected, it's almost impossible to completely separate. Even in the US, for example, yesterday President Obama was sworn in as president again for his second term, right? And what did he use in the ceremony? Bible. He puts his right hand on the Bible and raises the left hand and takes the oath of office, right? So says, I will be a good president and follow the Constitution, right? But even in a country like the US, where it's a young country, not so intertwined with religion, right? It was founded on the basis of free religion for all. But still, we use the Bible for politicians, for presidents, right? So it's sometimes hard to separate, right? And we think in America, a lot of people think, oh, it's, you know, a great country, this is the government, this is the religion, completely separate, but it's not always true. I mean, it's the basis of you won't kill your neighbor, you won't lie, right, is based on religion, right? That's based on Christianity, the Ten Commandments, right? So something to think about, that we would like to separate it, but it seems almost impossible because religion is so connected to government, and because of history and like Italian history, it's always been ruled by religion, right? Okay, so the last topic I want to discuss is something that affects each and every one of you, okay? So the university in Milan, Politecnico, has decided to have changed the whole university. All the classes will now be taught in English, okay? I don't know if you have heard, but they decided to do this because they want students to be able to speak English and learn English, and so they want to teach all the classes in English instead of in Italian, okay? And it affects all of you because this is a big university in Milan. A lot of you will go to this university, and the decision of this university to switch to English affects other universities in Italy, because other universities will want to, oh, that's a good thing, and then they will want to do it as well, right? So it affects all of you, because all of you will go to some university, and so this affects everyone. So I want to hear, what do you guys think? Is this good or is this a bad thing to have an Italian university teach in English?
I think it's a good idea, but it's too hard for the students because English it isn't our languages, and we don't know it with the Italian, and if all subjects are in English, it's too hard. But 50-50, or most in English and a little part in Italy, I think it's a good idea.
So maybe give the choice for the, okay, yes.
I think it's correct because the English are in all the world and on the internet, and I think when you go to Erasmus, it's important know the English, because when you talk about another person, you must speak English, because it's the universal language, and it's difficult studying English, but it's very important.
Yeah. Someone else, someone new who hasn't talked. The girls are leading this debate. What about the boys? What do you think?
I think it's a good idea, but like Chiara, it's difficult for students to study all the subjects in English. But it can have some subject in English, but the
majority.
I guess majority subject in Italian.
In Italian, right? Okay, so there's an article on BBC about this change that the University in Milan is making, and one of the professors said, he said, talking to your countrymen, your Italian countrymen in Italian is like watching a movie in color, 3D, HD, beautiful picture, right, big screen, right? But talking to your countrymen, your Italian friends in English is like watching a movie without your glasses, blurry picture, black and white, not HD, not 3D, just bad quality, right? So he says that language is a part of our culture, and by taking away our language, you're taking away a part of our culture that we use to communicate with other people, right? So what do you think of that? English is a universal language, but is it going to hurt Italian culture?
Yes, but also university can prepare the students to work and also to have a better preparation. We have to know better English than Italian.
Yeah. What else? What do you think? Sleepyhead.
No, non sto.
What do you think? Should they teach all the classes in English? Is that good?
It's too difficult.
Okay, why?
Because English isn't our language.
Yeah.
And maybe some subject is a beautiful thing, is positive, but with only no, with all the subject in English is too difficult, and maybe we don't understand all
everything, right? But when you go to university, for example, a technical school like Politecnico, what do you hope to do after that? What do you go to college for? What happens after college? What happens after you go to university? You get a job, right? And being in Italy is great, but Italy is part of the world. And like she said, unfortunately, right, English is the universal language because of the British Empire, the history of the world, right? English has become the dominant language, right? So if you go to university to study, to get a job, and you need to know English for your job, because now companies are not just in Italy or in America, it's the whole world, right? So if I am working in a company and you are working in a company, then we have to be able to communicate, right? I have to be able to tell you, okay, we should do this or not do this, or communicate about something, right? So it's an interesting debate because it's sort of like culture and tradition versus the modern advanced world, right? We need to know English to not let, otherwise Italy becomes an isolated country on its own. And the rest of the world is talking and communicating, and Italy is just speaking Italian, and we can't communicate. But at the same time, we don't want to lose our language, right? You guys don't want to lose your Italian culture and your Italian language. But it's something to think about and keep up with the news, because it affects each and every one of you, right? You all will be going to university, and more universities will start converting all the classes to English. And you guys will have to take those classes. You will have to be enrolled in those classes, right? So something to think about and keep in mind next time you're in English class. Maybe pay more attention. Yeah? Okay, so I just want to thank you guys for a great 3 weeks. I had a lot of fun teaching you guys, and I was very impressed with your English and your debate skills. I know you guys maybe don't think you're good, but I think you guys did a very great job. So a round of applause to you guys. And so I thought we would end on a fun note. So we're going to play a game. Okay, so everyone stand in a circle in the middle.